Hi and welcome to Indigo Starfire. My name is Bevin, and in this video I'm going to be looking into the question, who's headed your way and what do they want to say? There are three groups to choose from. Group 1 is the citrine. Group 2 is the fluorite. And group 3 is the amethyst. So if you want to take a moment to center, focus on your breathing, and feel whichever group, maybe multiple groups or perhaps all of the groups that you're most drawn to, I'll give you a minute to make your selection and then we'll get right into it. And there are timestamps in the description box of the video for each group if you'd like to jump ahead. And up next is a close-up photo of the crystals to help you better make your selection. Hi, Group 1. Chose the citrine. So let's see who's headed your way, and then we'll get into the question, what do they want to say to you? Okay, we have gazelle, spider, octopus, the owl, the holy mountain, and jaguar. So there's a sense here that this is someone that you might have had kind of some back and forth with the octopus, hot and cold energy, or someone you've been dealing with over a protracted or long period of time where they've been giving kind of mixed signals, mixed indicators. This may be someone that you're strongly energetically connected to as well. You may have been expecting this person to return or have gotten signs and synchronicities that they have been inbound at other points in time, and that either might have been something that did yield kind of fragmented or temporary interactions with them, or a sense of someone who may have gotten cold feet at the last minute, moved back in the opposite direction, or just kind of got lost on some other sort of karmic loop or side quest as far as distractions, dealing with patterns within themselves. Somebody that may have been kind of good with sort of manipulating energies or words or situations, making up a lot of excuses either directly to you to sort of come back in and explain any kind of absence, or even to themselves to sort of justify not taking that leap of faith forward to you. If it's someone that you could have sensed was coming back in, or a lot of signs and synchronicities were pointing to their arrival at other points in time. It feels like with this energy of spider, this is somebody that may be very stubborn or very entrenched in like a particular lifestyle, belief systems. That could have been something, if you were dealing with them in the past, that had come between the two of you. A sense of someone that may have been still entangled in the idea of an ex-partner, may have even left you for another person, or like went back to a previous partner, or somebody that could have been afraid of love. The chemistry might have been there, the connection might have been there, the potential might have been there, but when it came time to take steps forward, or to sort of view a potential situation with you as like the opportunity to start something fresh, it almost feels to be where they may have chosen to kind of remain in a sense of woundedness or guardedness as far as love is concerned. Somebody that may have professed like they didn't believe love was real, they weren't looking for anything deep, were only sort of looking for surface level connections, and yet there may have been a lot of intensity between you and this person that was almost like a challenge for them to step beyond that comfort zone in some sort of way, and they chose, it feels like in the past, to kind of remain very loyal to whatever that structure or system is. This can also be a circumstance of like opposites attract. There could have been marked differences between the two of you culturally, socially, religiously, like an age difference, an age gap between the two of you. Even in terms of, life path, career, goals, perspectives, things that challenge them in a material sense or challenge their ego, to kind of make or room or accommodate for an open-mindedness that would have been required in a connection between the two of you, or something that may have really even challenged them to kind of step beyond sort of limited or linear parameters as far as their views on life and love. A sense of somebody who may have felt a lot of intensity towards you but couldn't really understand where you would fit into their life, how you would fit in with their family, with their friends, with whatever they had going on in their reality. This energy of the gazelle can speak to something that might have been very much like an instant connection, very palpable between the two of you, love at first sight, or, you know, like fast friends, or friends that started evolving into something more. It could have been like a friends with benefits situation, or even a situationship in the past, where it almost feels like something that a confession of deep feelings was all that was required, or a lot that this person sort of held back or restrained themselves from expressing to you in the past. There may have been a lot of telepathy or, you know, like spiritual connected energy between the two of you. That might have been something that was also very challenging for them to kind of grasp or get a handle on, based on their worldview, religious ideas, or even just a sense of, this person may have catalyzed a spiritual awakening within you. You may have catalyzed a spiritual awakening within this person. And that could have really been something where they chose to cling to kind of outdated patterns, as opposed to leaning in and going with the process of that transformation. They chose to sort of back off and move in the other direction. So again, like a runner-chaser circumstance. With the energy of Jaguar, this definitely feels to be somebody that is very mysterious. They have a lot of depth to them, something that you may have been able to really sort of read this person at a soul level. There may have been like an instant kind of bondedness or a sense of familiarity, past life connection, or a lot of deja vu that may have gone on with them in the past, even early on in your connection with them, or when you had sort of limited understanding or interactions with them. There could have been like a deep sense of intimacy and familiarity. They almost represent like a yin to your yang, or a yang to your yin, mirrored energy between you and this individual. With the energy of Holy Mountain, this again speaks to like challenges, overt challenges, or even things emotionally speaking, that it almost might have required work or sacrifice or taking a leap of faith on both your parts in order to make this situation work. And it feels to be something that there may have been indicators that that was the case. You may have taken steps in your own life to kind of clear space in order to make room for a connection. This person may have also at a certain point in time crossed a certain threshold, or done certain things, said certain things, given indicators that they were willing to fight for this, or fight past any sort of blocks or obstacles, only to kind of leave you stranded, leave you stuck on a ledge, basically. And somebody who, you know, again, might have gotten cold feet, got very fearful about the situation, or what was sort of required for themselves, things that might have even been happening in terms of that spiritual awakening, you know, dark night of the soul energy, and sort of scrambling back into the comfort zone, into what was known and familiar. The energy of the owl also speaks to something about a lot that was unspoken. So confessions of feelings that were sort of waiting to be made, that were never made. You know, a suggestion of something more with this individual, and kind of waiting around for them to sort of see the light, or bring forth their personal truth to the light. But it may have been something where you've been waiting in the dark. It's been unknown kind of what this person's motivations are. You may not have talked to them for quite some time, or just very unaware of kind of what's going on in their life. You may have taken steps to detach from this person and sort of move forward in other directions, and yet remain very energetically connected to them. A sense of a person who gave indicators of feeling something more, wanting something more, but then actions did not correspond with promises made, did not correspond with words, or almost a sense of moving along a particular path of bondedness or connectedness, and then when it came time to actualize that into something in the material world, that could have been the point where this person sort of leaned into the fear-based paradigm, denied their feelings, denied the connection, retracted on any sort of forward momentum that they'd taken with you. And so again, it feels like someone you may have you may be very much in the dark as far as like who they're with, what's happening in their life, what's happening in their reality. They may have remained on kind of the peripheral or the outskirts of your life for quite some time, or just the nature of sort of where you're at right now, maybe steps you've taken to move forward. Maybe you've, discontinued kind of keeping up with them on social media. You're not tapping into the energies. You're very forward focused or very self-directed. And it feels to be something that there still is, again, like an energetic bond or like a soul connection with you and this person, being able to sort of feel their energy in the outskirts of yours, signs and synchronicities that kind of, again, relate back to them at different periods of time, that they're like inbound, that there's communication that's imminent, even sensing kind of their presence around you. But it may be something that there's been a lack of direct clarity, or if an apology was owed, honesty was owed, declaration of feelings has been owed. It feels that they have not given you the full story. They've not ever delivered their full personal truth to you up to this point in time, or they've, again, kind of like made excuses for things, or promised certain things, either sort of suggestively or overtly, only to kind of turn in the other direction, or have kind of a contradiction in terms of follow through versus promises. So let's see what this individual has to say to you. Okay, we have give back, ground yourself, support, opening heart, deep connections, water blessings, achievement, effort plus intention, and miracles, ancient wisdom. So this can definitely be somebody who is coming in and finally has seen the light of your connection, has been through some things in their own life, trials and tribulations, things that they had valued or prioritized over you, over the connection, over their feelings in the past. It feels that that has led to a very lackluster existence. They didn't find what they were looking for with someone else. Remaining within the comfort zone did not bring them sort of the pleasure, the level of fulfillment that they thought that it would. And it feels to be somebody that maybe even through your actions and steps to move forward in another direction in your life, or to, honor this person's rejection of you and kind of just give them that appropriate space. It feels that it's something where whatever you've cultivated within yourself emotionally, as far as like healing and progression, this is something that has reverberated to this person. It may have like cracked open their heart chakra. This may be somebody who has kind of reached a level through experiences in their life where they have no choice but to kind of go through the dark night of the soul, go through the awakening, go through some sort of ascension process that may have really cleansed their perceptions to what they were valuing in the past, and kind of what they chose or prioritized as far as like wedges, obstacles, fear-based patterns, any kind of entanglements, or even sort of entangled within the wounds of heartbreak from the past. If they weren't even necessarily waiting for an ex to return, it might have been something where the circumstances with another person prior to you had left such woundedness within that they almost couldn't bring themselves to open up their heart. They couldn't bring themselves to kind of take that forward momentum in the direction of all this palpable chemistry between the two of you, or ways in which they had opened up emotionally. It feels like a lot of just being very entangled in a self-protective energy, that it feels like time has passed or something has changed within them, within their life even. And there's a sense of, I'm ready to start to open up. I'm ready to start to establish kind of a new grounded situation between the two of us. I'm ready to have those discussions that are necessary to forge a new path forward. The energy of give back can even be kind of a confirmation of the feelings were always mutual. Vindication, if this is somebody who had denied their feelings for you in the past and sort of left you in an energy of feeling very stranded almost. The idea with achievement and effort plus intention, again, speaks to someone that may be ready to kind of press forth through obstacles, or has in some way cleared obstacles and blocks within their own life, maybe even internally. Maybe they've gone in and done some shadow work, done some deep healing. This could be somebody that's gotten therapy, or even has changed something about their lifestyle, habits and coping mechanisms that may have also presented as sort of like a wedge between the two of you, or had limited their ability to go in and like heal wounds of the past. This is someone that was used to kind of numbing things away rather than dealing with heavier emotions. This can be an indicator that they've changed their ways in that capacity. This may be somebody who's gotten sober, gotten clean and sober. They've started to kind of take on a healthier outlook, better coping mechanisms, may have invested in like self-help, or again, therapy in some kind of a way to kind of peel back the layers of a deep sense of woundedness that it feels like has maybe kept this person in a place where they manifested you into their life for a particular reason. They've called in previously an opportunity for connection, like a deep sort of energetic or spiritual connection with another person, but then chose to kind of lean back into the place of the woundedness and not take those actions forward. And it feels like this is something that they have now come to a place of not just epiphany and they've seen the light. This almost feels like the energy where they've really done something, also with this ground yourself energy, they've done something in the material world to make very exact changes within their life. They may be very much transformed from the person that you were dealing with before, resonating at like a higher vibration because they've cleared away certain things, or even belief systems, or an unwillingness to kind of own up to where they fell short in this situation, or places in which they haven't done the most sort of like self-honoring or self-loving thing by just continuing to hold on to a space of woundedness within, that they've changed something or have made kind of efforts to rewrite those patterns, or take on healthier coping mechanisms. And it feels like this almost might be a situation of they're ready to make amends. They're ready to see if you'd give them an opportunity, if this time around with kind of the evolved version of them, is it possible to kind of start to build in a better direction where everything's fell short in the past. It feels that they've taken like a circuitous route to dealing with whatever the wound was in the past that, sort of kept them at a distance. Maybe even with the idea of kind of opposites attract, or like a yin to the yang sort of energy, they may have been very concerned about what other people would think of the connection. Something even about kind of who they were in your presence, or the version of them that you kind of coaxed out from hiding, and how that may have very much clashed with what other people have come to know of them, or had expected of them. And so this may be something where they've really broken free of those patterns. They've broken free of a bit of people pleasing or codependency. They're standing more in their own authenticity, in their own autonomy. And it almost feels to be something where they may be coming around to say, you were the right person at the wrong time, but I've taken steps to kind of change myself, or I've been forced to change myself. And so is this the right time? Am I the right version of me that can align with like the current version of you? And do we have an opportunity to build where in the past things had fallen apart, or had not been able to kind of ground or establish themselves very sufficiently? So this may be somebody that is coming in, getting ready to kind of tell you what you've been wanting to hear. But it feels like this is definitely, there's a stability to this energy where they have some kind of present ability to follow through on actions versus just kind of giving you more empty words or promises, or sort of dancing around the issue. It feels like it's somebody that in the past may have been very emotionally avoidant. They might not have talked about their feelings. It may have just been something that was very suggestive, or they said very little. They may about the nature of how they were feeling, and so you were left to just kind of intuit or read the signs. This may be something where they're gearing up, or they're very much prepared to make a full declaration and disclosure to you. Everything that has happened, everything that was unspoken in the past, and kind of laying it out all out on the table to see, would you be open to giving them another opportunity? Is it something where they are bringing kind of a different aspect of themselves into a possible repair of a situation, or almost like a false start that might have been the case in the past? Like, would you be willing and interested to sort of hear them out, or to explore and to decipher and to see if what they have to bring to the table, who they've evolved into, the changes that they've made in their life in a very dynamic and precise and material sense. Is this something which can contribute to kind of turning the page between the two of you? So let's get some messages from their higher self, and then I will get some initials to close out the reading. Okay, and they say, I miss you so much. I've cried myself to sleep. So they're really seeing this as a missed opportunity with you. It feels that some kind of forced evolution or voluntary evolution that has taken place within themselves, within how they're living their life or who they are as a person. It has helped them to kind of in hindsight look back at what they could have had with you. If they had fought their fears and sort of taken a leap of faith, the ways in which the two of you might have been able to kind of grow and evolve with one another rather than moving off in separate directions, or a sense of like repetitive anguish or letdown that this person has knowingly kind of infused in you, or is just sort of able to kind of perceive or glean would likely be the case. Maybe somebody who is finally admitted to or is no longer in denial about the fact that there's like a spiritual connection between the two of you. And so they may be at this point able to kind of like feel empathically the range and variation in your energies. And so with this place of almost like owning that or accepting that within themselves, they're able to walk a mile in your shoes and to understand that you've been able to kind of like feel more than they express the whole time. That if they are feeling this bondedness to you even now energetically, you must have felt this the whole time as well. So there's a lot of guilt and shame that kind of accompanies this in terms of what have they done? Why have they caused you all this anguish? What can they do to sort of repair the situation? They also say, my heart will always belong to you. So this again speaks to deeper feelings than they have let on in the past, that it feels like they are wanting to reveal, wanting to bring that to the forefront, or, see if you'd be open to kind of hearing them out. They also say, I fear rejection. So this can account for, again, why you may have felt that they were approaching you in the past only to have nothing materialize, or something very lackluster materialize if they've been kind of in and out in the past. This may be something where you might even feel their approach at this point in time. It may be coming on very intensely, very strong, only to have them sort of pull back and retract again. So it may be something even with the essence of these energies where it feels very predictable, almost like you've been here with this person before. So you may not be putting a whole lot of stock or credit into them actually materializing before you to have a conversation. It may even be that you've taken steps in your own life to sort of close out the chapter with this person, the idea of this person. You're forward focused, and so it's something that it feels like a level of determination within you to kind of move towards somebody or something that can reciprocate, even if that means just enjoying your own energy until you're able to kind of interact with someone that can kind of meet you at the vibration that you're at and sort of bring what you are worthy of and what you're deserving to the table as far as romance. There may be something where there's like an empowered essence within you that wasn't there, it wasn't as pronounced before. This person was intimidated by that before, and it very much draws them in, kind of like moth to a flame. But at the same point in time, there's almost the sense of a fear, like, have you outgrown them? Has it been too much, like too long? Is it too little, too late? Is it something where the level of pain that they have like inflicted upon you, emotionally speaking, is there any way that they could make up for that? Or is it something to where they're just going to need to live with this as kind of like a life lesson? They also say there is no need to worry. So this is a sense of this person, it feels like, wanting you to know that regardless of how you handle the situation with them, if they are able to, follow through and create some kind of communication, if you hear them out, then they would be thrilled about that. And if it's something where you ignore them, or, you give them a piece of your mind, or just, you make it clear that like it is too little too late. There's a sense of that this person would not hold any bitterness because they're taking a lot of personal responsibility, that you're only in this situation with one another at this present time because of their actions. You were offering an openness and they responded with like a closed off or kind of a defensive energy. They sort of pushed you away or cast you aside. And so there's a sense of them almost feeling like they're not worthy of a second chance. They're not worthy of your consideration after everything that has happened, yet they feel very compelled to at least provide you with some kind of closure, but it feels like something where they're wanting to knock on the door and see, is there another opportunity for us? Can we start again? Can we get it right this time? They also say, you are my North Star. So they may be watching you from afar, even just energetically feeling into you, very much inspired and kind of guided by you, some sort of example that you are setting, anything that you've done to create positive change for yourself and within your life that is kind of publicly known. It feels like they're aware of that. So they may be, again, like watching social media. Maybe they've heard about you through the grapevine or kind of observing you in the real world if they have access in that manner. Maybe they've seen you out and about. They're kind of scoping out the situation before they sort of move in and make direct contact. And it's something where they're seeing you as very radiant, very much like a brighter energy than you were in before. And so there's a yearning with this. They're very much drawn towards that. It feels like they've done enough in their life that they would be able to maintain some sort of like higher level vibration with you, an elevated vibration that is very different from what they were capable of in the past. And so it's almost a sense of, if you're willing to sort of hold space with me, I can hold that vibration at the higher level. I can reciprocate with you, where in the past I was not really capable of that equal give and take. And they also say, I am being sincere. So it feels like whatever changes they've made, whatever promises they may make to you, or things that they sort of present or provide that indicate they are a different person. They've turned a new leaf. They've grown. They've matured. They've let certain things go. They've evolved into a better version of themselves. It feels like this is something that is trustworthy. It is something that's believable. It's not just like a newly forged path. It may be something where whatever the changes are, they've been in place for quite some time. This person is very sort of stable within their transformation energy. And so it's a sense of, if that coincides with sort of like what you're looking for, if you're willing to hear them out, if you're kind of able to give them that time and space to really present themselves, give them an opportunity to prove themselves, it feels like this is somebody that has reached a level in their life where they're capable of giving to you in a more genuine fashion than they were in the past, because they've really genuinely given themselves maybe some tough love or the time, care, and attention to work through some emotional things that might have been a hindrance in the past. So get some initials. This can be a first, middle, or last name, or can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. You've got T, P, S, B, Y, A, N, D, U, F, E, V, Z, F, and J. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers if you're interested in checking any of those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 2. You chose the fluorite. So let's see who's headed your way, and then we'll get into what they want to say to you. hummingbird, tiger, deer, the corn, the heart of sky, and the spiral. So this is giving with this tiger, kind of a corn here, someone that might be a secret admirer, has kind of been watching you from afar, trying to blend into the background, with the idea of the spiral kind of circling the peripheral, watching you online, or somebody in your actual environment who has like caught sight of you and maybe sort of inching in closer, getting ready to speak, getting ready to make contact. It may be somebody that you as well have caught sight of already, kind of like stranger across the crowded room vibes, and a sense of like spark, electricity, some degree of intrigue, something that has like caught your attention about this person. It may be eye contact is very intense between the two of you, a sense of almost familiarity, or even that could relate to like deja vu, past life energy, or there may almost be an indicator within this person's energy or the essence of who they are, or the feeling that is sort of sparked within you, if this is someone you've caught sight of, and also in terms of this person as they've caught sight of you, that this is an opportunity for a different kind of experience in romance, potentially, or the feeling that has been elicited inside is different than kind of what may have been almost movement within a heart space, or attraction, or degree of like longing or a pull towards another person. It feels like they definitely, with this hummingbird energy, this person gets like racing heart. They may be very nervous. It may almost drive them to the point where they're very shy to say something, maybe in the process of like working up the courage to speak, maybe very intimidated by you energetically speaking, or by the nature of what they're feeling within, because this almost feels to be something that there's like attraction or there's chemistry, but there's also a vastness to this, where it either represents kind of the steps that would be necessary to kind of break the ice between the two of you, or establish some kind of like direct verbal communication between the two of you, may be very much outside of this person's comfort zone. The nature in which they may approach you may be very unusual for how you are accustomed to meeting people, or maybe in the ways in which people have approached you before. A sense of, especially if this is like someone who just has seen you online, there's this element here of kind of needing to come up with something very creative to stand out from just a random person looking for attention on the internet. That there's something that they're wanting to kind of almost convey without sounding too intense or too out there, as far as like they feel so drawn to you, they feel so compelled towards you. You almost, it feels like this is almost something where there's attraction, and yet you're creating a quiet space within this person. There's like a peace within this person that may be very, very big in terms of the sense of like opportunity, the opportunity that may arise if they were to take steps toward you, even if it's somebody that is like seeing you in the physical world. There's almost a sense of being magnetized towards you, understanding without having kind of almost obviously the full sort of knowledge and awareness, because it's giving secret admirer sort of energy, or somebody that's just kind of caught sight of you from afar. That there's an essence here that to strike up a conversation, or even what more of a direct kind of mingling of your energies would be, getting to know you, developing into some kind of a romance, like out of just a crush situation, or out of something where they're very mesmerized by you, that it has the potential to be life-changing for them. There may just be a sense of almost like destiny or fate, serendipity that they've come across you, a lot of synchronicities and signs that kind of align with maybe sightings of you if they're seeing you out and about, or things if they're kind of like watching online, watching from afar. In that sense, there may almost be details that they're able to kind of pick up or glean about you that align very precisely with sort of things in their own life, things within their backstory or within their kind of present reality, that might almost give sort of an essence of the mystical to this, something that it feels like there's a level of intimidation and yet excitement as far as the idea of moving towards you. a sense of almost that you represent adventure for them, or that they don't normally do things like this. And as cliche as that sounds, they don't normally approach people in this manner, or they don't normally just kind of reach out in this way to individuals, or they may have kind of come upon you at a time when they weren't necessarily looking to experience kind of a stirring within the heart space. So even that might be something. It feels like that they're in the process of kind of figuring out what to say, figuring out how to create that first communication, figuring out how to kind of step forth into this ability to have some sort of an opportunity with you, or at least present themselves as like a candidate for consideration, as far as, would you give them a chance? Do you sense a chemistry between the two of you, or is this just one-sided? So let's get into a little bit more about what they want to say to you. We have a mother's love. You are not alone. Receive. Building your world, creation, expansion, networking. Healing the heart, the power of self-love. And divine masculine, electric, active power. So this can definitely give the vibes of like a soulmate sort of energy, with this mother's love, and then the divine masculine. It's kind of like divine masculine, divine feminine energies here. And so this can be somebody that is trying to sort of come up with a way to express to you that they feel that there's some kind of a soul connection between the two of you. There's a sense of familiarity, even if they don't kind of overtly state that in the first kind of approach. It feels to be something that they're wanting to kind of test the waters or feel things out. What is your spiritual sense of things? What is kind of your spiritual knowledge that you have? Do you believe in such things? This is almost kind of like this almost feels to be something as well, like a love at first sight kind of an energy, something that has really stirred or sort of jumped out from within this person towards you. There may be kind of an essence of like, you are the one they've been looking for. This may have been somebody that has like dreamed of you, has gotten visions of you, has been familiar and connected with you energetically for quite some time, and it's almost the sense of like, there is that person. This is that person, and that for others this can be something that there's just a sense of almost the vibe that you are giving off, or what they're able to kind of decipher and discern about you, how you present yourself, how you move about the world, things you put on social media. If this is someone that's noticed you online, there's a sense of like kinship, like a kindred soul energy with you are not alone, a sense of feeling that you could develop a very special connection with one another, or an interest in getting to know more about you as a person, that you give off an air of intrigue. There's mystery and yet there's familiarity with this. It feels to be something you might have also awakened this person's heart space. This could be somebody who was not looking for love, who was even just kind of focused on self-love, working to sort of heal from a broken heart, or rebuild their life after certain things had happened, and love was kind of not on the top of the list of priorities, and yet they've had some deep emotional reaction to you that it feels like is causing them to sort of circle the peripheral of your existence at this point in time. Hopeful that they will see you, or even kind of like chance occurrences where they have seen you, or they've not like gone out of their way to seek you out, that have reached a point where there's no longer the ability to deny that there's some reason you keep crossing paths with one another. Or again, if it's somebody who's like watching you on social media, kind of observing you from afar, in that sense, there's almost this essence of feeling a bondedness to you already, or a sense of almost, again, like it's the energy or the vibe that you're giving off that is just pulling them forward beyond some kind of an essence of Maybe they've been single for a while. Maybe they've been out of the dating scene for a while and just sort of focused on self, focused on, kind of healing hurts and building in the direction of their best life or a better life, or just coming into more of a place of balance and acceptance about themselves. And there's almost the essence of, they've reached a certain level with that kind of journey of self-love, that there's a sense of almost the universe has delivered this opportunity, or you have crossed their path at just the right moment, because now there's this task to kind of apply those same theories, practices, and principles as far as self-love into the exchange of like love or romance, or allowing a connection to develop with another person. So this can be somebody with the idea of building your world, and even receive this can be something where they may offer information as opposed to asking for something. Like if they approach you, it may be like, here's my card, here's my phone number, if you're interested, call me, rather than like coming on and making demands. It's almost like they are giving something with the hope that there would be some sort of reciprocity, something received from that. So that might even be a different approach in terms of how they are used to sort of addressing people, asking and then kind of them being the one to reciprocate. It's almost like they pay something forward. They present themselves to you in more of a sense of like, here's all of this about me, and if you choose to do something with that, if you choose to explore that, then this is how you can reach me, kind of an energy. They may also come towards you with something that might be almost like some sort of an excuse in a mundane sense. This can be, offers to collaborate on certain things. This can be the essence of almost, if they've noted you professionally speaking, maybe they've seen you, your place of work, your place of business. They may come forth with almost like professional requests, or seeking to almost start a friendship first, even building some kind of rapport in that sense before they open up about things emotionally, because there's a sense that this person feels very deeply like spiritually connected to you. They very much could be an awakened person, somebody that is on a spiritual path themselves, and so there's a sensitivity to not come across as kind of like a creepy energy. There's a sense of them wanting to really convey that they bring forth sincerity, or there's an essence of they're looking for high vibrational connections in terms of friendships and in terms of romance, that they're not just wanting to come forth and kind of waste your time or play mind games to mess with your heart or emotions, because it feels like they've walked a very almost like a treacherous or kind of a perilous path as far as emotions are concerned, wreckage that has taken place within their life emotionally. So they're very conscientious, very sensitive about being cautious about who they let into their world and who they let into their heart, and also very cautious about almost like not giving people the wrong impression, not kind of opening people up emotionally without the intention or the ability to kind of deliver or reciprocate upon that. And so there's a sense of almost a kindness or a gentleness, a sturdiness and a certainty within this person that it feels like will yield some sort of approach where there's patience. This isn't kind of just like they're going to approach and if you are not kind of open and fully receptive, then they'll be easily sort of dissuaded and kind of just move on. This is a sense of almost wanting to build trust, wanting to gradually kind of unfold up into that energy, or into that kind of those deeper levels of conversations, as far as like sense of vibes or a bond that they are feeling, almost the essence of, again, like soulmates, kindred spirits, past life connection, deja vu. Maybe even, again, for those of you that this is someone that's like, I've dreamed of you, I've connected with your energy in meditation, I thought you were just kind of a figment of my imagination, or a spirit guide, or something like that, and to be confronted either literally, like with your face and who you are, or even just the energy that they have been familiar with, that has kind of been a companion with them through their journey, or for, you know, even like since they were a child. So this could definitely be like deep soul connection with this person. There's a sense of like they've now connected to or found that energy signature within a flesh and blood person. And so this is something that might also add to the level of nervousness, wanting to try to get things right, not wanting to move too quickly, wanting to handle the situation delicately, in order to sort of preserve and protect and open up to the optimal development between the two of you. So let's get some messages from their higher self, and then I will close the reading out with some initials. Okay, and they say, I run hot and cold because I'm scared of being hurt. So this again can be somebody that is really nervous to speak to you, really nervous to approach. You may have made them speechless. They've gotten really shy. Maybe they're really shy in general. And so approaching somebody directly in this capacity might be very much outside of the comfort zone for them, but they feel very, very compelled to speak, very compelled to say something, to not just remain in this observer energy or like secret admirer energy, but there's a sense of like, I want to talk to you. I want to ground this energy down. I want to establish something more than just, I'm pulled in by your essence. I'm fascinated by this. I'm observing this. Or especially if it's somebody that you've like seen out and about in your material world, there's a sense of like, I don't just want to be that stranger across the crowded room or the person that you sort of catch sight of every once in a while. I want to take steps forward, in order to be able to kind of establish some sort of real world connection. They also say, you shook up my life in the best way. So again, somebody who wasn't out looking for love. They weren't out looking for some kind of electric connection with another person, or like a very spontaneous sense of almost like somebody whose heart was like leaping out of their chest when they first saw you, or they very much may feel things very intensely when they see you, when they hear you speak, when they're confronted with you, even at a distance, energetically, when they're in like the same space or within the same kind of layer of time with you, when there's some kind of like real world sighting, or when they see you online or you post something online, a sense of them being able to kind of like dip into that richness of your energy, and it has some sort of palpable effect upon this person that it feels like goes far beyond just lust. It goes far beyond just physical level attraction. There's almost something within this person's soul that is pulling them towards you, pulling them towards the necessity to do something about this. They also say, I secretly dream of a future together. So again, this is an indicator that they are very determined not just to remain an observer, not just to remain somebody on the peripheral, on the outskirts, or determined not to just remain a stranger. That they are wanting to get to know you. They're wanting to open up that dialogue with you. In the material world, they're wanting to say something. They're wanting to present themselves. They also say, you are my North Star. So again, you have a very compelling energy. You shine very brightly to this person. It's almost something where they have like stars in their eyes, or they may feel very much like a young love sort of situation, no matter what they've been through emotionally, what they've been through in terms of the ups and downs of love and romance. There's a sense of like approaching a person for the first time, confessing feelings for the first time ever to a person. That's the sense of like reset that you give this individual, that also kind of ties into this idea of like moving towards you, or opening up about what has developed, what has become apparent to them emotionally speaking. it could be very much life-changing, either in terms of it's like a step forward for them beyond whatever they've been focused on at this point in time, kind of closed within themselves to heal and to grow and to kind of recover from some things emotionally, or there is a sense of like, this is a destined connection, this is your soulmate, this is the one, this is the person that helps to make sense out of why things didn't work out with anybody else. And it feels like this individual like senses that on some level. It's more than just an element of conquest of like, I see somebody I desire and I must have that. There's almost the sense of like, it crystallizes or is the reward on the other side of efforts to crystallize and kind of transmute pain into wisdom, pain into personal empowerment, choices that this person has made in the past to focus on self-love, healing, and growth. Now it's almost like they've been presented with somebody that resonates at that frequency, or that they are feeling is kind of like could be, or that you are that sort of resonant match, not somebody who has emanated from a place of woundedness within and has been called in to sort of align with that, like a lower vibration. But this is someone that it feels like is almost taken very conscious and deliberate steps to sort of change a lot of things within themselves and within their life. And so what they are feeling for you or towards you, it's reflective of that. You're giving off a vibe of somebody who has also been doing work on themselves, who is also kind of elevated or giving off a different frequency from people that they have been used to dealing with in romance in the past. So it feels like something that they're very determined to kind of rise beyond this energy of just sort of words caught in their throat and speak. You also say, I'm clearing my karma. So it feels like this, in terms of karma, this feels like a fear, just fear to approach you, fear to make the first move, to say something, to introduce themselves, that this is something that they're kind of maybe scripting what to say, rehearsing what to say, practicing what to say, trying to plan out like that right sort of intersection, almost like the next time I see this person, I'm going to say something, or I'm going to go to lengths to be able to create that communication with them, reach out online or to seek you out in some sort of way. So yeah, the karma almost feels just like fear of rejection could be something that's like holding them back, or just a sense of that they're very intimidated. There's something that is very much exciting about the idea of presenting themselves to you, but then there's also kind of just like a fear of the unknown, a fear that this could be a very life-changing experience for the two of you. And so there's almost the sense of like they've readied themselves for something like this and now it's here. And so it's the essence of kind of like all they need to do is take that first step, and that's almost like the first step is the hardest step. And so that feels to be something that they're very conscious of and trying to sort of ease back off of an inclination to just sort of hold back and remain in that nervousness. And they also say, I just can't walk away. So again, this is something where this person does not plan to remain an observer. They cannot just shake the feeling of you. They cannot ignore this. They can't turn it off. They must say something. They feel very much that this would be a lifelong regret if they let a window of opportunity pass them by. So these initials can be a first, middle, or last name, or can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. Got S, L, Y, W, Z, F, E, P, S, M, Q, L, W, and C. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers if you're interested in checking any of those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 3. Chose the amethyst. So let's start by taking a look at who is headed your way, and then we'll see what they want to say to you. Okay, we have the Seer, the Time Master, the Sorcerer, Phoenix, Spider, and Crocodile. So this feels to be somebody that, this either could be like a fresh connection that is headed your way, that you have manifested into your life with the sorcerer energy, the magician energy, through some kind of personal transformation that has taken place within you. This can be like spiritual awakening, spiritual journey, healing different things emotionally that has now unlocked some kind of potential within you to create a different narrative for yourself, like weave a different story in terms of love. So you're calling in kind of like a destined partner, it feels like, a long-awaited person, the arrival of kind of the love that you have been seeking. You have worked to kind of build yourself into a different version of you, and so it feels to be something that may coincide. It's possible that it could be somebody you were dealing with before that has also gone through some kind of personal transformation within themselves. They've reinvented, they've reinvigorated or rejuvenated themselves, but this almost feels to be something that it's been a long time coming. This is something that's been like lying in wait almost. Whether it's a person from the past that has again completely reinvented themselves, or it's almost something that is very transitional in terms of you've never experienced a love like this before. You've never experienced a person like this before because you've raised your frequency in a certain way. Something that was almost like submerged or hidden out of view, inaccessible to you, becomes known. Something that may tie into almost somebody that you sense energetically speaking. You may already have like an energetic connection with a person that has yet to materialize in physical form. Something within your intuition that tells you there's an individual that's coming in, or love is on the horizon, a readiness within yourself, or almost kind of things that may have taken place to sort of indicate like a purging process within, or you've really put the focus on maybe releasing the idea of a past person returning. You've released the idea of like actively seeking new connection. You're just very settled within yourself, within some kind of new normal or routine that you've created that it feels like has now, you've sent a different signal out into the universe. You're on receptive mode. You're in full flow state, maybe working toward cultivating and calling in other types of abundance for you. And this is something that it's almost, you don't see this coming, or if there's a sense of like, you've got intuitive indicators or someone that you're kind of connected with, energetically speaking, in sort of the subtle realms that you don't know who it is yet. You haven't come face to face with this person yet. You're just sort of familiar with like a new energy that is different from people you've energetically dealt with in the past, or is kind of like you've cleared out sort of material expectations of people in the past. It's either something where you may kind of like feel that there's change coming, feel or sense that like this could be around the time, or you're within sort of the season of your reality. You're ripe to receive. You're in a place of just kind of trusting that the universe will deliver that love you are seeking at the time when it is most aligned for yourself and for the other person. That there may almost be sort of something that's building, like a connection that builds from the top down almost. So something where you may just be connecting with like the essence of love, visioning towards that sort of higher ideal, that higher love that you've worked to cultivate within you. But it feels like instead of it just being kind of a nebulous sort of higher love energy, it's connected with an actual person who matches that frequency, who radiates at that volume within themselves, who has kind of crafted and cultivated a life for themselves that is very resonant with you. Somebody, it feels like, that will fit very well into the choreography and structure of whatever changes you have made in your life, whatever you have going on in your life at this point, or sort of like forward facing goals and dreams. This person intersects very beautifully with that. They themselves may have gone through deep personal transformations, struggles that they have turned into a state of empowerment within themselves with this Phoenix energy. It's a higher caliber of person in general, it feels like, than you've interacted with, than you've dealt with. The love that they are able to give and their ability to receive love from you is very different than people that you may have been dealing with in the past, which again speaks to like a fresh sort of energy, long awaited, destined, almost like dormant soulmate energy that could have been activated had you not chosen to take certain steps in your life or been like willing to dive in deep and kind of go through a profound personal transformation. It's almost like there was no guarantee that you and this person would absolutely intersect in this lifetime. It's almost, this feels like an essence of, for you and this individual, you're sort of like the love and romance reward on the other side of the rigorous work that it has taken to break free of certain patterns. Choose self, choose that investment within sort of changing your narrative by changing yourself first and foremost, becoming that change you wish to see in the world, becoming that love you are wishing to experience with another person. And it has now kind of created something where your paths are aligning with one another. This feels like someone that's like getting ready to intersect with you, or if it happens to be a person you were dealing with before and your paths have gone in separate directions, there may even be something that's almost kind of like fated, like it was just a matter of time before you intersected with them again, or a sense of like separate journeys, separate roads that you needed to take. You've now gone through enough kind of change within yourselves that you're ready to be revealed to one another, or something that couldn't work before, almost like right person, wrong time, or the suggestion of this could possibly be the right person, but we both need to sort of grow and evolve and change. It's almost like you've each done that work within. This may be somebody that you just, it doesn't feel like anything that there would have been sort of negativity with, but it almost just would have been like false start, or you touched upon one another energetically at a certain point and then went in your opposite directions. You may have been aware of this person very briefly, but just nothing developed from that. So it could be somebody where there were previous entanglements, other relationships, people that were in other relationships, in other marriages, had to go through some things karmically, learn some lessons, evolve, go through certain stages and cycles before it's almost like then the universe opened it up to where now it's your time with this individual. It's their time with you. So there may be a sense of almost kind of like familiarity, or somebody that really kind of embodies, again, that higher principle of love, something where you've worked to sort of detach from the idea of labels, fixated on particular people as like, this is my person, or this is the one I'm holding space for or waiting for. You may have really transcended beyond that and have really just opened up to kind of the trust of the universe, to deliver to you, or to elevate you to that place where you're able to kind of receive and reciprocate with a higher experience of love in a very sort of like you've kept it nebulous. It's not fixed to the idea of like one specific individual. It's almost the essence of, for those of you that have reached that kind of place of like, I know that there is someone out there for me. I know that I have a soulmate. I know that I have somebody that kind of aligns with this higher path I've chosen for myself, and I'm willing to wait for that, or you've implemented some degree of discernment. You're not entertaining lower vibrations anymore. You've released the idea of kind of waiting around actively for people to change, for people to choose you, for people to evolve and grow, and you've chosen yourself. And so it feels like something that almost might feel very heaven sent, very, very much like a divine connection, high level soulmate energy, twin soul kind of energy, something on the other side of kind of the incendiary experience of like a twin flame dynamic. So some of you may resonate with that journey where you've kind of reached the end of the road with an individual that may have catalyzed something for you spiritually, or that you had resonated with or thought was like your twin flame, that turned out to just be a catalyst to your awakening and your journey, and you're now ready to intersect with kind of that divine masculine or that divine feminine, whatever sort of role you resonate with, kind of the opposite of that, the counterpart of that, almost like true counterpart energy, feels like is who is headed your way at this point in time. So let's see what they want to say to you. Okay, so we have relationships, hello from heaven, self-sabotage, achievement, effort plus intention, shamanic journey, purpose, attunement, vision quest, and idyllic times, the garden, paradise. So this hello from heaven can definitely indicate that this is almost like a heaven sent, like a blessing, true counterpart, true match, true kind of like divine energy. Something that this person, it feels like, would sense this, would know this. Maybe something where there's a lot that happens energetically. Again, it's kind of like a prelude to words that are spoken. It feels like whatever would be, if this is someone from the past that has undergone kind of like a deep personal transformation in alignment with something that you've gone through or what you've been endeavoring maybe over a period of time, it feels that they would be very open with kind of owning their shortcomings. Apologies would be given and followed through with kind of proof of concrete action of change. Rather than just sort of like, sorry, I'm working on it, it would almost be like, I have undergone a profound transformation. I'm a different person than I was. And so the best form of apology is via actions. And so it feels like somebody that would have the wherewithal to be able to know what is necessary this time around to create different results in the situation with you than had been the case previously. But it really, overall, this feels like for more people, this is going to be an entirely new person, someone that you've not dealt with before. Again, somebody you've not had access to this level of kind of love, and they have not had access to this level of love for themselves to experience with another as well. It's almost two people that have been on a self-love, self-healing journey that then kind of reach that point of intersection. Here's that partner for you that matches that frequency of a determination to grow and to evolve and to change, to face oneself, face one's shadows, go through the rigorous kind of process of like ego dissolution, dark night of the soul, transform through all of that into kind of a more elevated or clarified or authentic or higher version of self. And so it may be something that it's almost, you could meet them through some kind of spiritual path. They may be very much spiritually aligned. Your initial kind of conversations or the things you talk about with one another may have to do, with kind of your backstory. You may connect through some element of sort of what it is you're focused on at this point, what it is that is kind of your meaning, your purpose, your priorities at this point in time. So it may be very much where it's just like casual sort of energy, or something where you connect off of like shared interests with one another, that then gives way or opens the door to kind of exploring that sort of energetic or subtle bond, it feels like, between the two of you. It may be something where you both very much are kind of aware or shown or kind of resonate with the idea or the experience of, this is somebody, this is divine, this is a different kind of person that I'm used to dealing with. The circumstances of how they've come into my awareness, or how we are being brought together with one another. There's a sense of like perceiving the hand of the divine within it. Can definitely be something that begins as like an internal union or a higher level union before it kind of materializes into physical form. There's a sense here of almost this person maybe not wanting to lead with like overly emotional or kind of like lust-based energies. This almost feels like somebody that will hold themselves back from sort of like diving in very quickly to like, let's date, let's get physical in this situation with one another. There's a sense of they are mature, evolved enough upon their own path, or have been through some things in love and in life, that there's an understanding that good things take time, that almost to like hold themselves back from jumping forth, it feels like, towards you with that energy of, let's create something in like a physical sense. There's almost this element of wanting to get to know you as a person, honoring and recognizing those, some degree of like emotional energy that comes through, but wanting to create almost a sense of like comfort and trust between the two of you, peace between the two of you. There's an energy of like innocence with the garden and idyllic times. So almost kind of someone who may approach this element of romance as if, you know, loving for the first time. They've gone to great lengths to kind of create some sort of reset within themselves, it feels like, or the way in which you present to them, the feelings that they have, or the place that they're at in their life. It's almost like they want to do things differently this time. They've gone through the motions of doing things in a particular fashion up to this point in time with less than satisfactory results in terms of emotion. So it feels like they recognize this as like an opportunity to sort of have a transcendent experience of emotions, or like a second chance, like another opportunity to build something emotional with another person that also incorporates some sort of level of spirituality. That might have been a missing ingredient. The missing link in previous connections was the spiritual element. They themselves might not have been necessarily spiritually awakened, or they had to go through some sort of a process of, up leveling and kind of upgrades within themselves. And so they are presenting as kind of, again, very spiritually, very energetically mature. Life experiences have matured them in a sense that they are not hardened towards love, but they approach it with almost respect or reverence. Something where they may sort of sense the potential between the two of you as something of the sacred. There's a holiness to that it's almost needs to be sort of handled in a way to where to just dive right into like physical connection, or a typical like dating situation, it feels like that doesn't resonate with sort of what they're looking to call in or have in their life in terms of the different layers of connection with a potential partner. So it feels like they really will hold themselves back from being kind of like overly enthusiastic with you, keep some degree of like barrier between the two of you, physical distance in some sort of way. So it's possible you may meet this person face to face, but a lot of your communications could be almost virtual in some kind of sense, or a need to kind of move at a very methodical pace in order to be able to establish that kind of bridge and foundation on all levels, kind of having the physical relationship being the last component of the way in which this individual wants to kind of develop things. But it feels like something where there will be a romantic urge towards you. This might be something where you intersect with a person and you connect with them on that spiritual level. You connect with them through some kind of shared interest, and then feelings are kind of developing later on. Feelings are revealed later on. But it almost, for most of you, it feels like something where there's an essence of being pulled towards you, but at the same point in time, wanting to kind of keep things more into the layers of getting to know you as a well-rounded individual, and then kind of entertaining, that idea of sort of what blossoms in terms of like traditional aspects of romance and dating and courtship. So let's get some messages from this person's higher self, and then I'll get some initials to close out the reading. Okay, and they say, your presence gave me such a reality check on my life. So since this person is still inbound, it feels like you haven't connected with them physically yet, although you may be familiar with them energetically speaking. There's almost a sense of them being very much drawn or magnetized towards you. And at that point of intersection, when they first catch sight of you, when you first cross paths with one another, this feels to be something that it'll open them up inside. It's going to be something that resonates with them deeply on a soul level in a way that may be very different from the feelings that they've gotten in terms of attraction or chemistry. They may at first just kind of approach this as like you are some kind of a soulmate in sort of a nebulous sense, but it feels like their heart will draw them towards you. That they won't for very long sort of remain in that territory of like a platonic soulmate. This is somebody that it feels like has worked to excavate hope from within themselves, beneath and amidst any kind of rubble of what has happened emotionally to them. to where they might be cautious or guarded, but they're not closed off to the idea of love. They want a partnership of a higher spiritual level, and there's a sense of like seeing that that's possible with you, feeling that that's possible with you. And so it may give like a very profound resonance within, sort of like, this is the person, this is the type of person you have been seeking, which it feels like activates them to take a different approach to the situation than they have in romances in the past. And they also say, I should never have let you go. So there may be a sense of like, when you meet this person, they take a step back in this situation, or they don't move forward as briskly or quickly as you think that they should, or that might have been typical or that you're used to. That might be something that there could almost be like a triggering of fears, like ghosts of the past that may surface within you and this person because they're taking a very different approach. Fear of the unknown may be something that really sort of rises in this situation, that it feels like because they're dealing with this in a different way than they've dealt with romance before, you're experiencing, or you will experience something different from this person than you've experienced from others in romance before. It might almost be a sense of both people kind of being like, what do we do in this situation? Because it comes forth from as like an emanation of efforts to change one's life in a very positive way, and therefore unlocking the potential of like a higher level of connection and experience, where the rules that have been utilized in romance before don't apply to this situation. It's new territory. And so this again might be someone that kind of needs to take a step back and sort of pause and reflect, check in with themselves, and like, how do I approach this that sort of honors the full range and layer of what it is I'm needing and wanting in my life, and what I sense is possible with this person. And they also say, please forgive me for running away. So again, this feels like something where they'll be very slow and deliberate as far as how they confess their feelings, how they get to know you. It feels like this is definitely somebody that takes the lead in this situation and sets the tone, the pace, and the tempo of how things develop. It doesn't feel like it's anything where you'd be getting like full disconnect, runner chaser sort of energy, but it might almost be something where they're having to exercise a lot of self-restraint. It's a task for them almost to practice what it is they've been preaching, to really kind of utilize those tools that they have implemented for themselves to break free of certain toxicity or unhealthy patterns as far as love and romance, or even healing within themselves, to try a different approach. But again, it's almost something where there's no owner's manual for that. There's no instructions for that. They're kind of just creating it as they go along. And so there may be a sense of almost intensity followed by periods of pause with this person as they just sort of decipher within themselves what's almost like a game of chess, kind of like, what's the next move that I make at this point in time? Not as a way to like play mind games or play with your emotions or play with your heart, but it's almost a sense of wanting to maximize the potential here within this situation. They also say, I'm doubting everyone around me. So this can be somebody that right now is kind of working to sort of clean up some loose ends within their life, as far as releasing even wounds of the past. It's given the energy here overall of somebody that's not dating other people. They're not kind of like needing to choose between people, but they may be just something in terms of their own sort of path where they're getting ready to align with you, or spirit's getting ready to like present them to you or present you to them, that they may be sort of sifting through or filtering out or cleansing out relationships that either are lower vibrational in nature and don't kind of like feed healthy and positive energies in, or have just kind of reached the end of the road, and that it's kind of just cycling around in redundancy, in monotony. And so there's a sense of almost they're mature enough within their own sort of path and progression to understand that people come into our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. So this might almost be something where they're closing out some seasonal connections. They've learned some lessons. They've kind of exchanged all they needed to exchange with certain things or certain people in their life. And so it may be where they're creating distance, creating change, getting outside of their comfort zone, making kind of transitions in a variety of ways that it feels like will then put them in that direct kind of correlation with you. They also say spiritual gifts are activating. So again, this is somebody that's like on an ascension path, on an ascension journey. Their intuition may be heightened at this point in time. There may be something where if you're connecting with this person energetically or telepathically, you know, just as kind of like a nebulous energy associated with like higher level love, this can be very reciprocal, very mutual, in like a conscious sort of sense. You're both tapping into one another in those higher realms as kind of like a prelude to that physical manifestation with one another. And they also say, I'm going through a spiritual awakening. Yeah, so this is somebody that's kind of maybe coming out of a dark night of the soul, going through some kind of upgrades, some kind of up leveling. They've made changes in their life and things are kind of clearing out energetically speaking. They're rising to the next level or being raised up to the next level within their life, actually, energetically, emotionally, to where the stage is really being set for spirit to reveal you to one another, to have an opportunity to create and germinate something with one another that it feels like is a very different quality and caliber of relationship than either of you've experienced before. And it comes by virtue of the fact that you've been dedicated and have loved yourselves enough to really choose yourselves, to invest within yourselves, to heal, to grow, to evolve, to move through some kind of process of like activation, awakening, realignment of yourself, of your priorities, the way you're living your life, whatever that looks like. And it's kind of like the reward of all of that in the romance department is this intersection with one another. So these initials can be a first, middle, or last name, or can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got V, Y, D, L, V, R, X, G, C, E, Z, E, B, A, Q, and G. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers if you're interested in checking any of those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.